Okay, so I want to give you guys sort of a lesson. Um, I always had this worldview to where you could watch and see where everyone else fail. You can learn from them. You don't have to fail yourself all the time because usually there's someone else who have tried to do something you want to do and you can learn from them, but you still may have to fail because you doing it may have a different outcome depending on whether physics or what's involved, the variables involved. But you can't be just afraid of doing something just because someone failed at doing it. But I say all that to say this really. I want you guys to take note from this because this don't have to be singled out to people who want to make content or stuff around like content really. So as you can see, if you can look on my page, you'll see I've made YouTube videos, health related really, um, things about the light, circadian rhythm, um, CO2, oxygen, the air you breathe, and how that stuff could, you know, have an effect on you, a massive effect really. And but one thing, you know, someone may question if looking at my YouTube page is this guy doesn't seem to be following through with the videos he's making. And I could critique my own page, at this point. I don't have a million people watching me, so I can it's okay for me to do it. And I may do it even if I have a million subscribers. Who really cares? It's my page. So I made videos and I wanted to do a series where I would post like I would update each day on what I did to achieve the sleep score I got for that day. So if I were to, for example, get an 84 sleep score today, um, and tomorrow I would get a 96 sleep score, let's just say, I would say, okay, this is what I did differently, and this is what I believe increased my sleep score to this point, right? So I'll basically be updating you all on what I changed, what happened, what I did that day, and try to like better my sleep score as time progressed. So whether that be from experimenting, whether that be from implementing steps, habits, tricks, tips from other content creators or other people who specialize in that department. Um, but overall, it was a growing factor to it. But what I soon realized in making these videos, or which actually took me a while to realize, because I tried to do it a few times, even the videos you guys haven't seen, I didn't post to YouTube, but it was a recurring problem that took me a while to say, okay, let's back up here, something's wrong. But the problem was that sleep is something that is as psychological as it is physical. And when you put a stress, such high stress on something, it's called performance anxiety. So when I tried to go to sleep, right, and what I had in my head is that I wanted to go to sleep and I wanted to prove to YouTube that I can get 100% sleep score. So in my head, I would, it would become bedtime. I would put my head on the pillow and I would say, okay, I need to get a 100 sleep score. So it looked like a sport to me. And I had made it kind of like a game almost. I gamified sleep, which is a cool thing. And it's something I like to do with a lot of parts of my life in terms of bettering myself because it just makes things funner. And I had put that level of stress even though it was a game, I viewed it as something so serious because I wanted to come to YouTube and I wanted to talk about how I got to a 100% sleep score. So I would get in bed And I would lay up at night thinking like, oh my God, when I'm gonna go to sleep, or when I'm gonna fall asleep, or I can't wait to see what my sleep score is tomorrow, or wonder what I'm gonna dream about. And I just have all these recurring thoughts, and like all of those thoughts were there because I had a objective, a goal to sleep, instead of just, preparing for sleep before I go to bed and just falling asleep. But I put this massive stress, this massive weight on sleep because I knew I would have to come back and report to YouTube and say, "Oh, I failed at sleep." And it was, and I guess in a way, you know, you can view that as an ego thing in a way. I don't like to view it as an ego thing, but in some way I kind of have to. I kind of have to, coming to YouTube and saying, guys, I tried, but I got a 54 sleep score. It's like I would wake up and not even want to tell you all that that happened. And like I said, it wasn't all the way necessarily because what the steps I followed to going to sleep, but it was more so on the thoughts, the recurring thoughts of trying to perform or trying to get a perfect sleep score. So I say all that to say this. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to relax and accept that a B is okay. A B is passing. Um, whether that be sleep, whether that be something in life, you don't always have to get an A plus on every single thing. And a lot of times, the recurring thought of whether I'm gonna make the shot. Let's just use basketball as an example. Am I gonna make this shot? Oh my gosh, I hope I make this shot. That can be the very thing that questions your experience to where you end up missing the shot. You can be a 99% shooter. And when you start questioning yourself, when you start saying, I don't know if I'm gonna make the shot, oh my God. And you start to feel this second thought, a second thought, right? The second thought. And it's okay to have those second thoughts. It's quite natural. But it's not, it's very important not to be consumed by it. So, you know, what I've done since then is I've took a huge step back from making sleep part of my YouTube videos. That's just something I'm not comfortable with yet at the moment. It's definitely something I would like to, bring to YouTube, but just putting too much weight on some things it just smothers out all the it just smothers out the thrill of it or the confidence of it. You need some breathability. You need to accept that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Um, and that was my big takeaway from that. And since then, for this week, I've consistently gotten around like a 80% sleep score, which is something I haven't done since getting a smartwatch. Like I haven't got consistent across the board 80% sleep score. That's something I never did. And the thing that I changed is not putting so much weight on sleeping. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. All I can do is prepare, implement a protocol, learn, put that into my schedule, and do it and execute it. And not think tomorrow or not lay in that bed and think to myself, I wonder how this is gonna go. I already done what I could do. I already put in the effort. All I have to do is just lay here and count sheeps at night, But I would lay up at night before and just have these recurring thoughts of, is it gonna be perfect? I hope I had a 99% sleep score, 100%, because I wanted that 100% sleep score. It's like I said, it was such like a game at that time to where it looked like a trophy in my eyes. But I'm gonna get to that 100% sleep score. I feel like just saying that right there just impacted my sleep. But eventually I'll get to 100% sleep score. For right now, I accept that, it's not even truly possible for me to get to 100% sleep score in my current state. I can I can recognize that now, but before I didn't really understand it that deeply to be able to understand it that deeply. Um, but now I know that, like, there are a few things that I'm missing right now. Just yesterday, um, was this morning I woke up with a 77 sleep score, and the day before it was 85. But what I did that I believe had to make my sleep score go down that far was that I looked at my phone 1 hour within 20 minutes of going to sleep. Within 20 minutes of going to sleep, I looked at my phone, and for a long time really. So I was looking at my phone up until 20 minutes before going to bed, and I know that it had to be that because that's the only time that I looked at my phone that close to sleep. And before I was getting like 80% sleep score across the whole entire week. So that kind of helped me understand it. And I think it's better for me to not bring that to YouTube because, like I said, there's less thought there. It's more so I feel dependent on me rather than having to come or to put the weight of YouTube, you know, on top of my sleep. So that's been pretty cool though. I would highly recommend you all accepting a B sometimes. It's not always the healthiest thing to try to have an A+ in every single thing. Some things don't even deserve the time and effort it takes to have an A+, you know. But that's all for this video. It's a pretty light video. Take care.